4 years to when we began the comprehensive plan process and joined the compact, the Greenway Compact. We held a regional workshop here in this room, and our guest tonight attended that regional workshop as part of our planning process. And I've worked with Mark since then, and Mark is now the acting executive director for the Greenway Council. He made me say acting. He's doing a super job as filling in as the executive director. And it's my privilege to introduce our New York State Greenway Council executive director for an announcement. Thank you.
How you doing, folks? My name is Mark Castiglione, and I've worked for about the past 5 years as a planner for the Hudson Valley Greenway, and most recently as the acting executive director. Certainly a position that is demanding, but it offers lots of opportunities to get out there and work with communities and go to town board meetings like this. Now, back in 1991, the Hudson Valley Greenway was created to advance the idea that said economic development and environmental values are not mutually exclusive, and that by creating a regional framework, we can all work together to plan for the future that we all need to be successful. But in a home rule state, fundamentally, what does that mean? It means we need to respect what home rule powers that we have, so that communities can plan and establish what they want to see in their own communities, while respecting what we all need to work together to plan for to be successful as a region and as a state. So when they were looking at developing this framework, they said, well, it's going to have to be voluntary, and it's going to have to be incentive-based. And one of those incentives to sort of incentivize participation in this regional planning compact was providing indemnity to communities in the event that they were sued for enacting land use regulations. So I'm pleased to say tonight that there has been a lot of people over the years, and the Greenway was established in 1991, that have been wondering what this indemnity really means. And it was not until it was tested or it was invoked, and we actually asked the Attorney General's office to figure out for us what exactly does this mean. And I was happy to say that last week they came back to our office and they said that, well, it means in this case that the Attorney General's office will, if the town board of Milan so desires, represent the town in the appeal in the pending case that's currently before the Supreme Court. And I am still acting, so my oratory skills are I'm still developing those. But I'm just pleased that this has been tested. It means a lot for the regional vision of the Hudson Valley Greenway, and I think it will respect the home rule powers that Milan has to plan for its development and its future, while also respecting the regional vision of the Hudson Valley Greenway. It was established as an incentive to get people to participate in the Greenway Compact. But at the same time, when you make that commitment, this is also a part of the board. So thank you, Ross. Thank you, Town Board. If there's any questions, I'll be entertaining those, I guess, at the discretion of the Town Board. So, Supervisor.
Mark, in the interest of having Mark leave at his convenience, are there any questions for him?
I have one. I was wondering if you could detail a little bit what it means for the Attorney General to represent us. I think it's great. I'm really happy. It's really good news. But I wonder what it means in terms of how the Attorney General will do that. How will they take this on?
The easy answer, and you won't hear too many state officials say this, but I don't know. But the bottom line is that they have agreed to do that, and what that looks like is still being worked out. And I think your contact at the Attorney General's office, he has stated that he's there to answer those kinds of questions, and I'll defer to the Attorney General's office to answer that question.
Okay, so any preparation that's required by the town board, in order for us to go ahead and approve this resolution, I would like to have some assurance that it's not going to cost the town any money in terms of representation, in terms of fees or legal things that we would have to pay for to have the Attorney General represent us.
Well, it's my understanding, based on the communication that I've received from their office, that they will be stepping in to represent the town in this case. There are similar provisions, or a similar provision that I know about in New York State, in Long Island. The Long Island Pine Barrens Commission has a similar provision in their legislation. And And likewise, the Attorney General's office stepped in to do the representation for that. And to my knowledge, in those cases, that there has been no cost to the Pine Barrens Commission in that case.
Right, so we can probably expect the same thing, that any preparation or legal papers that you require, the state will be paying for entirely. We don't have to pay for.
From this point moving forward, I would assume that the legal costs would be that reflected the representation of the Office of the Attorney General will be a function of that office.
Okay, and it won't be a matter of reimbursement, it will be a matter of funding from the beginning, from the get-go?
Well, I'm not sure if there's any funding per se that the town would have to interact with. I think it's just a matter of the Attorney General's office stepping in and taking over the case.
Okay, thank you.
To be specific, Mark, working off her question, when we had a discussion with our attorney regarding the cost of an appeal, she indicated that copying the files alone would cost about $13,000. Am I assured, based on what you just said, that the Attorney General, to get those files copied and submitted to the Attorney General, that they would absorb the cost?
Again, it's my understanding that the cost to represent the town from this point forward,
Okay.
those costs, or in order to represent you effectively, I would think that would be a function of
Sure.
what the Attorney General's office
Sure.
would have to do. Again, I can't speak definitively to that because
Yes.
I have not seen this and nobody else has seen this in action. But I would assume, since the Attorney General's office said it's appropriate for them to represent the town in this case, that they would do their best job to represent the town. And if copying those files is part of that, I would assume that it is part of that.
Good enough. Thank you. Anyone else? Did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to thank Mark very much, and also to thank Barney McHenry, who is the chair of the Greenway Council. Both of them worked very diligently over several months here to ensure that we got an answer from the AG's office on how to proceed with this. And I think they did a terrific job. And I very much appreciate it. I mean, I think it's a real partnership. It's in the interest of Milan and our home rule rights, but I think it's also very much in the interest of the Greenway and their mission, because they need to be able to say that they are supporting good planning, and that good planning can go forward without the threat of deep pockets coming along and making it impossible for a town to proceed with its own rule rights. So I think this is very much in the interest of the state, of the Greenway Council, and of Milan. And again, I thank you very much, Mike.
Thanks. If I could just say one more thing, because I would be remiss if I didn't include this part. The provision in the legislation was set to sunset in 2007. And I'm happy to say that the legislators right here, Senator Mark Molinaro and Senator Steve Slant, stepped in and made sure that this provision could continue for another 5 years in 2007. Just thank you.
Speaking for the board and the residents of the community, I want to thank you, Ross, for what you did. I certainly want to extend our thanks to Mark Molinaro and Steve Salant. This indemnification clause had a sunset provision, would have died last year up at the state legislature, and they didn't permit it, and they worked on getting that clause renewed. And we have them also to thank for what's transpired here tonight. We have a resolution.